Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Christina Danielle Show. We are so excited. Oh my gosh, this has been almost a year in the making. And forgive me, I had the guest and we were talking in the beginning, so I was supposed to introduce her. So I'm gonna take her off screen because I want to give her a proper introduction. So I'm gonna remove her for a moment so I can really bring her up. So I'm gonna have her in the background. But guys, I'm so excited to introduce to you the Christina Danielle Show. First and foremost, thank y'all, right? Y'all made this happen. Y'all were out here telling everybody about the show. You were reposting the flyer. You were hitting up my phone. And it's because of you that I get to serve out my purpose. And for that, I am grateful. Listen, I want to first encourage anybody, if you have a goal, a dream, just know that it's very much possible. When I tell you that this has been being done for a year, like literally a year, I would have never thought I would have my own self-titled show, right? I dreamt of it when I was younger. If you see my post on Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you go follow me right now. 3_ Christina Danielle, and make sure that you're following me on Facebook also at Christina Stewart. If you saw my post, you would know that I have dreamed of being Brenda Blackman. Like I saw her and I saw myself, right? And then I always saw the Ricky Lake show and I was like, I want to have my own show, my own self-titled show. And here I am today on May the 13th of 2021, telling you that the dream has become possible. I want to first and foremost express my entire gratitude to all of those people who have encouraged me, loved on me, supported me, and you are sharing this out with all of your friends and family. Thank you, and thank you. So let's get into the fun, y'all. My name is Christina Danielle. Welcome to the Christina Danielle Show. This show is going to highlight dope entrepreneurs and thought leaders who use their pain, purpose, and platform to encourage and empower others to live purposeful and prosperous lives. Okay, we are very specific with who we're going to have on this show because anybody that has to be in my space has to be with the same values that I value, right? And I value purpose and prosperity, and I definitely value God. So shout out to God first and foremost. I should have started there, right? Definitely a huge shout out to God. So this is my first episode, y'all. I've never had my own talk show before. I know how to talk, but I've never had my own talk show before. So excuse me if you see me looking at my notes, that's okay, because I want to make sure that I follow what I have here, right? So again, thank you and welcome to the Christina Danielle Show. My guest today is a day one. She's the person that whenever I ask, she answers. If I call, she's there. I have cried on her shoulder before, right? She is a phenomenal mother. She's of 3 amazing, dope children. Shout out to her son, my nephew, who is an HBCU student, okay? And I'm just super excited to bring this guest on tonight so that you can hear the jewels and the gems from her. You can get truth and transparency. And most importantly, y'all, she's a professional encourager, all right? So if you need to be encouraged, which is actually her self-titled LLC, she's definitely the person that you want to connect with. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my special guest for the very first episode of the Christina Danielle Show, my sister, my friend, academic success coach, and college planning consultant, Miss Candace Hutson. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey.
We are live in full effect. How are you feeling this evening?
I'm good. I'm so excited.
I know, right? Like, I know people. So for those who don't know, when Candace and I step up in the room, it's like literally like fire. Literally. So we would like to give you a quick disclaimer of anything that might transform in your life while you're watching this tonight. But we are known to transform and encourage lives. So I'm super excited to have Candace here tonight. And I would love for you, Candace, to please introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, you guys. Good evening. Congratulations, Christina, on this show. Like we on your own show. Okay. My name is Candace Hutson. I am an academic success coach and college planning consultant. And I work with students with self-advocacy, time management, organizational skills, study habits, and I also assist families on their college planning journey. The biggest thing I do for that for your college planning journey is basically to show you the opportunities that are there that you may not be aware of, and to assist parents, because we know that that whole process can be a doozy, and to make sure that you are prepped and prepared and you start early.
Wonderful. Yes. Come through now, prepped and prepared. Oh my goodness. So Candace, please, you have to tell us, how did you come about being a college planner, like academic success coach and college planning consultant? Where did that stem from? Because, people see the glory, but they don't understand the story. And I would love for you to shed some light and some background on that.
So, first of all, I'm a parent turned coach. I went to school to become an accountant, right? And it was actually my own journey. I had no idea, I picked a major that I thought was just going to pick me, I'm going to be an accountant that's going to make me a lot of money. I like some numbers. I like to figure some stuff out. And I thought that's what I was at school for. And actually, as we look back, I could see that my whole entire journey was building me up for what I was doing now. When I am an alumni of the illustrious Howard University, right? Class of 2003, stand up. But Bison, but during that journey, 2 weeks after I got to school, my house caught on fire. My second year of school, I became pregnant with my son, who is 19 now and attends North Carolina A&T. And through that journey of learning what to do as a parent, a teenage parent on campus, trying to find financial aid, I just kind of soaked up so much information trying to help myself, that when I graduated from school, everyone wanted to know, how did you do it? And then first it just started out with me helping someone at church, someone in my neighborhood, someone in my family. And then it got to the point where my oldest niece, was ready to go to school. And all the things I had been doing for years, just helping people for free. I just wanted everyone to have the opportunity I had, that, I didn't know that I could actually do, because I'm a first generation graduate. No one had did it before me in my household. So I had to learn on, is on the job training. So everyone else who thought like I couldn't get to school and there's no money, I wanted them to know that they could do it. And it's when I did it for my niece that I really, began to see that I had a system. And then also with my children, how the academic coaching came along, I didn't know what I was doing. I just created systems. I'm a person who created systems in my house. So my children were always on a certain routine. And it started from the oldest one, and then it went to the second, and then became like a well-oiled machine. And they were just producing, they were getting great grades, but there were also other things that they were learning. They were learning character building traits. They were learning how to advocate for themselves in school, all the things that I felt was important for them. And then it came to, I happened to be looking for scholarships for my niece. And the young woman I was, researching to look for her to help me, she had a podcast. And the podcast, she was interviewing an academic coach. And I was like, this woman sounds like me. It was the first time I had ever had language for what I was doing. And I actually reached out to that academic coach who is my mentor now. And I was one of the people who asked her to initiate it, actually initiated her starting to teach people how to become academic coaches. And that was literally 6 years ago. So it was from under her tutelage and mentorship that I just took it up to another level, and I love it, just kept taking it up a notch every year. And I have my own recipe. I don't do what a lot of academic coaches or people that help kids go to college, I don't do what a lot of them do, because I have that parent perspective. And I am very, very good with HBCUs, obviously, because I attended one, and I've continued to work with them, although I can work with any school. But it kind of started from my journey into helping others, and that's where I am now.
Wow. That is super amazing. If you saw me, I was like over here taking notes, because I love to actually take notes when I'm hearing somebody speak. And I want to talk about you being a first generation grad. Let's start there. There's a couple of things that I want to pull out from what you said. And I want to start first with being this first generation grad, because, we grow up in these families and we are pushed to go to college, right? You got to get your education. You got to get your education. You got to get your education. And I wonder, what influence did your household have on you when it came to getting that education and ensuring that you went to college? Was it like a high influence, in between, not so much? Like, what was that like for you? Because as you said, you're a first generation grad. So the influence could be, one of two things, well, one of three things, actually. So I would love to know what that influence was like, and so we can see how it helped you to be a first generation grad.
So my story is a little funny. I love A Different World. I was a big fan of A Different World, and I'm also the youngest of three girls. And my oldest sister, I always, I love being around her and her friends. I went to everything they did at their high school, so I loved watching them do things. And my oldest sister, Danielle, went to Howard Homecoming. And because I was so enamored with A Different World, that's what lured me. Like there was no one besides, like, I had some cousins and things that did go to school. There was no one in my neighborhood or anybody talking about college to me. But where I was introduced with is that my sister went to Howard Homecoming, and her and her friends were talking about it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go there, right? Because actually Howard to me represented Hillman. So I had something to compare, like, oh, this sounds like Hillman. Hillman must be Howard. And that's what I really thought. And I was only in the sixth grade. And she bought me back a shirt, and it had all the HBCUs on it. I didn't even know what an HBCU was till then. But then I started to I was watching A Different World, and I really took in what I was seeing. And that's actually what drove me to want to go to Howard. And it's actually what drove me to want to go to college. There was no one really telling me to do it. I was a good student, and everyone applauded me for when I got great grades and stuff like that. But no one just said, oh, you could do these things. And then also growing up at Zion Gospel Church with Bishop Shields, he was a great big advocate for HBCUs. So once he found out that I wanted to go, he started filling me with so much information. And then it became like a little bit of an obsession for me. That was the only school I was like, I'm only going to Howard. If y'all try to make me apply to any other school, it's just going to be for fun, right? And I started just doing a lot of the research and things on myself. So my biggest inspiration was watching my sister, and then also having A Different World. And that's what made it come to life for me.
Wow. Wow. So the influence actually came from the show A Different World. How dope is that? See, this is why we need to have those shows nowadays, right? We don't have those shows like we had back in the day. And for some of your younger generation, y'all really missing out. You don't even notice you're missing out. Like you're definitely missing out, because those were the shows that gave us foundation, and they gave us, like I was talking about Brenda Blackman, right? Like it gave us something to look forward to and say, I want to do that, right? I want to be like that. And so we need some more of those impactful influences, because there's influences out there, but are they impactful in a way that they're positive? That's the most important thing. So I'm so glad that you found something that was impactful for you to make you so dope today, because baby, ma'am, you are so dope. All right. So let's also now talk about, you talked about 6 years of mentoring. You went through 6 years of mentorship. Now, I'm actually going to later on down the line do a whole series on mentorship. But since we're here, I love to talk about mentorship, because I believe that people have mentorship misconstrued, right? They feel like mentors owe them something, instead of looking at mentorship as something that you gain. You have to you have to give something to get something. Nobody owes you anything. And so you talked about 6 years of mentorship. Some people can't even go 6 years of anything, let alone 1 year of anything. So please tell us about your journey with this 6 years of mentorship and how it impacted you and influenced you to who you are today.
So I've had more than one mentor, but in academic coaching, and not the college planning part, because the college planning part is something that honestly developed with like the Holy Ghost. Okay. Because I don't even know how I know half of the stuff I know. I don't even know how it works. I literally get inspiration from the Holy Spirit. Let me just make sure I say that. Okay. But as far as the academic coaching, her name is Gretchen Wegner. What she was able to do, she created a program. Now, she mentored me, and it wasn't free. I think we need to understand that, because yes, people
can you say that again?
They look for the mentorship, but they don't understand that mentorship can also come in the form of a course or a program where you should put out the money. You have to sow into you. You got to sow into you. So when she had her program, when she finally developed it, I didn't even have the money. I found the money, right? And then I even spoke to her, like, do you got a payment plan? You know what I mean? Like, I might need a little bit of help. But she did, right? And even at that time, I didn't even finish the program the first time around. funny story, I haven't actually finished any of her programs because I would have a life event that actually would take me out. That's why when I said the mentorship is 6 years, because even now to this day, I am still under her, right? I actually still mentor by her. I'm in so many groups, but do you know, because of the years that she knows that I have put in, I have always come back, even when I got knocked down by life and things were happening and my life had to keep changing and I had to keep dropping out of a program or I didn't finish it. You know what I never did? I never quit, right? So what happened is, hey, Gretchen, what are you doing now? Emailing her, talking to her, always showing up and popping up somewhere. And it got to the point when the last 2 years, when I came back around, I began to interact with her more to the point where she's like, you don't even need to finish this, because with your experience and the time you spent here and me watching you, I need you to come in and speak to these people in the program, but I've never even finished.
Wow.
Right. So working, you have to understand, even with the mentorship, you don't, like you said, there's something that we're always looking to gain, but you have to put in some work. And one thing that she saw for me was that as a parent turned coach, when she brings me to speak to people, and this is something that my mentor does now, she goes, I want you to listen to her confidence. And I'm sitting in a room with the PhDs. I didn't go to school to be a teacher. I don't have any certifications, but I will still step in the room with those with 15 to 20 to 25 years of teaching experience, just to let them know that you can still start this business and you can still be a coach. I'm a parent turned coach, and I'm going to talk with and speak with the confidence needed to encourage you. So although I had never finished one of her programs at that time, now I'm good. I'm good now. But over the years, because life did happen. But the thing is, just like I would do for a student, I came back in and I didn't quit. And that's why me and her have developed such a great friendship and relationship that when she sees me, she's like, oh, no. I tried to be in one program. She said, oh, no, I'm going to upgrade you because I need you here in this program.
Wow. Talk about, listen, y'all, it's about to get real good in here. I feel it. Talk about your gifts making room for you and bringing you before great men. Like, that's all I heard when you were saying that just now. Your gifts made room for you. And this is why I wanted you to talk about the 6 years of mentorship, because I know what the background is, but people need to hear that, right? They need to hear that. What work are you willing to put in? What sacrifice are you willing to give in order to get to where you deserve, not even to where you want? I think one is belittling, but to get to where you deserve, because your gifts make room for you and bring you before great men. Like, what a story. That is phenomenal. And if there is no other takeaway, which I know there are plenty more, if there was no other takeaway from tonight, y'all, I pray that I got that right there, because that is so super dope. Oh my goodness. Wow. So, talk to me about, you say that you're parent turned coach, right? And I love that, because there are a lot of moms and parents rather who will watch something like this and they'll say, well, she can do that, but I can't do that because I've got 2 kids. I got 3 kids. I don't have the time and I can't build anything. Because we didn't even talk about the fact that you still work. You still work your job. So you work your job, you have your business, and you're a mother. So I want you to talk about how you find I like to call it the unbalanced balance of being a parent and a businesswoman and still having a career.
What day is it? Right? Like, today is a good day. Tomorrow may not be. You know what I mean? I'm still an accountant. I still have a 9 to 5. I'm working my business. I have 3 kids. They are all, honor students. So that means there's still a level of time that I put into students and into my own children, right? Because what good am I if I'm successful on the outside and my house is a mess, right? So I can't let my kids fail. And they're actually, my kids are the prototype for everything that I do. Everything that I'm teaching, I did with them first, right? So I can't let that machine go dry. And trying to I don't try to balance anything, because like I said, I want to be very clear that even over the last 6 years, I fell and got back up. I fell and got back up. I literally had to put down the business. when I was going through life, and tend to myself, heal myself, allow myself to process emotions and go through tough seasons. And then as I healed, I picked myself back up. God picked me back up. Let's just be clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had to go through those seasons, but I also think God was taking me through a time of pruning and a time of, preparation for what he was going to do. Because, COVID hit everybody differently. Honestly, I didn't necessarily enjoy COVID. I thank God that my family was healthy and we were okay. The transition and handling things during COVID was tough and challenging. But what COVID did, it was take away the fact that I didn't have to run around crazy to certain sports and things like that. And I took that little bit of time and made a video. I took that little bit of time and made another video. I took that little bit of time and put myself out there in a way that I didn't always have the time to do before. I was creeping. But understand, even your creeping is progress. Even in 2018, I was creeping. In 2019, I was creeping. And if anybody could ever go back to my Instagrams, my Facebooks, I want you to look back in 2017 and I was dropping something on you and it said, be encouraged. Way back then, before I even had a business, right? The business wasn't even full throttle yet. But you can see the be encouraged coming for years because I always knew it was there. I didn't even know that was going to be the business name. But the thing is, I didn't quit. Yes, it's hard. I'll be tired. I'm tired now. Okay? Call it what it is. I want to lay down. But you cannot. I remember sitting up at night with my son, correcting essays. It's 11:30. It's 11:45. I'm tired. When do I have time to work on a business? I really, to the everyday I didn't. Right? But what I did was I planted seeds over the time that I had. And sometimes I just dropped a little note. But one thing that Christina brought up is I'm a professional encourager. So I was always encouraging people. So what the thing is, I had already shown myself to be who I am. People could trust me. I'm always vulnerable. I'm always honest. And I'm going to tell the truth. And I was always giving my experiences of what I was going through, things I was doing with my kids, things I did for other people. So when it was time for me to hit my business, let me tell you something. In COVID, in March of 2020, I made a video and then I started making more videos. And because I had a little bit more time, my business shot up like crazy. I kid you not. I've gotten more business in the last year than I've gotten in the last 4.
Wow.
It has quadrupled. Right. And I know for everyone, COVID hit differently. Some people needed to rest. Some people needed not to do anything. Right. But for me, all it gave me the opportunity to do was have space to think. And did it always work? No. Y'all, I cry sometimes. Right. You're a mom. You don't go in the closet and cry. You don't go to the bathroom and cry.
Yeah.
Because you're a little bit tired and the kids are still going and you still got to check work. And then COVID made it, we had to now do remote learning and all this other stuff. Come on. I got a kid in college. I'll be on top of him too. Right? Because I can't let him fail and have my other students succeed. The thing is, I don't quit. I'm going to just keep saying that. You just can't quit. Some days are going to go really well. Some days I will go a week without posting. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I got an Instagram. Let me go post something. Right? But guess what? I picked it back up. And I don't have a perfect recipe. It's not all clean. I don't got no fancy videos. I ain't got the time to do.
Talk about it.
Okay. And then what COVID also allowed me to do was hire help. And people say, I don't have the money to hire help. Figure it out. You can. Fiverr is cheap. Go to fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. Okay, Fiverr is cheap. I was able to, hire one of my son's friends. She was helping me. She was volunteering, getting volunteer hours for my charity. And I was like, I like the way she works. You got a job. You do anything on the side? And she just started out just helping me do simple things. And I hired help. And that's actually what really, really, shout out to Candace, my assistant. But that also really, really helped me out because she was able to go do my posts, post on Instagram, help me do some stuff, things I hate doing. I don't like doing social media, anything. I don't want to figure out nothing. But she also helps. So don't quit. This is how you find balance. You don't quit. You get tired, you lay down, you wake up, there is another day, right? If it gets too late and you feel like you can't give in that 5 minutes, I get it. Wake up early the next day because sometimes I had to do that, right? I don't want you to quit. And also, I just want you to find the way to get the help. It's not as expensive as you think it is. Get a family friend, your niece, your nephew, somebody. and ask them for an hour, an hour here or there just to sit with you to do something. Because I don't have no perfect recipe. My assistant, she had to learn me. And once she learned me, she started figuring out how to do things like, oh, I think you probably want me to do this, tell me to do this. I'm like, girl, because I forgot to text you. That's just how it is, right? Because my life is busy, right? And it's full. So I don't have a perfect recipe. But the thing is, I'm just not going to quit. You can't, I'm just not that person. And this is what I tell students and parents. I'm not a quitter. So it's going to be, even on a hard day. I mean, I've had some hard days and I still wake up and I'm still coming for everything that's already mine.
Woo! Listen, I really hope that y'all are taking notes. I hope that you watch this over and over again, because if that never quit didn't hit you, like gut punch you, like that right there, she like over and over and over again, just the never quitting part. And I completely understand, Candace, exactly what you mean about that never quitting, because I had every reason in the book to quit and I didn't, right? And I'm so glad that you were vulnerable with it, because sometimes we just want to go in the bathroom and cry. Yes. I just want to just not be bothered, put my phone on I still put my phone on do not disturb, but you just don't want to be bothered. It's just, it can get overwhelming. But even if it's overwhelming, you can overcome the overwhelm by just never quitting. It's literally the secret sauce. So I'm so glad that you brought that up, right? And also, you talked about your assistant. Shout out to your assistant, because hiring help is big and it's major, and it's something we had to learn how to do. So I want to shout out my amazing assistant. I have two. One is on a little bit of a hiatus right now because she's wedding planning. But shout out to Bianca. I love you so much. To my sister Bianca, and also to my other assistant, Jackie. You two have no idea how much you really, really helped me. I cannot do this by myself, and I know I can be tough. So I understand what you meant, kid. It's like my sister had to learn me. Yes. Because Jackie sends me every email like, is this one okay? And then I revise it and send it back, revise and send it back. But hiring help, really, it is also major, because you got to think about it. What I can do in 10 minutes, both of us can do we can do double work in 10 minutes, because she got minutes and I got 10 minutes. And now we got 20, right? And then on top of that, if you flip the side of it, there's some things that kids, I'm pretty sure you've experienced this before, things that you are capable of doing, but it would take you longer to do, as opposed to just hiring somebody to do it for you and get it done and have more time for you to actually just breathe. Not even do anything else, but to just breathe, right? So I think that that's so important. I'm so glad that you brought that up. So let's talk about how you coach your students, right? Because you have a very unique way of how you coach your students. And I want to highlight that, because that is what makes you who you are. So please talk to us about, your coaching program and how you coach your students academically.
Okay. And just that I don't forget, I have a new assistant too, Olivia. I just want, she's new to the team, but I want to make sure. She's okay.
Yeah, shout out.
So I do have a very unique way that I work with students, and I work with them on. So here's the thing: it's not even about them grades. Them grades are a byproduct. What I do is I hone in on their identity, right? And all I'm doing is getting to know your child, your student, in a way, because that's my grace. That's what God has graced me to do. God has graced me to be able to see things in people that they may not be able to see. And what I do is I work with students to strengthen their identity. I want them to know who they are, because I noticed that when a student knows who they are, we know how they operate, we understand how their brain works, we see how they can speak to teachers. I see how you speak to me, and I take those things and I strengthen those things through the study skills and teaching them certain habits. But I get them to build up themselves so much that getting grades becomes like an easy thing to them. If I can show up for me, showing up in class is not hard. Because when I show up for me, I can go into class and don't feel odd to ask a question, because kids don't like asking questions because it looks like I don't know something. Make them so confident that they get in the classroom, they're like, you know what? I know what you did before, but excuse me, I don't understand this part. Right? Because not every student feels comfortable to ask questions. Not every student feels comfortable to challenge a teacher. And not in a disrespectful way, to say, you know what? disagree with what you're saying, right? Be able to have discussions and feel confident in knowing that even if they get told that they're wrong, they feel okay in that. But I noticed the more confident a student is, the more they know who they are. And that came from my son. My oldest son had a little quirkiness to him. He had his own kind of personality. He walked to the beat of his own drum, and every teacher did not understand him. And I noticed that the teachers that did not understand him gave him a hard time because they wanted him. He was very bright, always intelligent, always getting good grades, but they wanted him to be something that he was not. I had a teacher who would push him to do things, and I would have to come to the school and say, hey, my son told me that you put him in a spelling bee. And I'm like, I didn't approve that. I'm going to take him out. You know what I mean? And I would have, problems with those particular teachers because they're like, well, I think he would be so great in this. And they were always pushing who they thought he should be. And I was pushing him to be exactly who he was. And when he got the teachers that understood him, that understood that he got a little quirkiness and he's going to do this with his pencil and he's doing this, but that means he's thinking because he likes to, in his independent reading time, read his science textbook and not the chapter books, right? He knew certain things that other students didn't know. When I got the teachers that got him, he thrived in those environments. So I started to evaluate it to see how is it that I can get him so confident of himself that when he gets in a situation with a teacher that doesn't understand him, he can still blossom as who he is and not feel intimidated by the personality the teacher was trying to push on him. And that's why I focus on their identity. So the academics comes, it's so funny because I had a student, he tells me, we didn't really talk about a lot of grades, but I feel like I got mad tools and skills on how to do stuff. And I said, you did. And your grades are going to be a byproduct of everything that you're learning with me. I can get you a good grade. We could bust out some extra study time, things like that. There's even a way that, a cycle that I use called the study cycle to teach children and students how to study. But that's not the main idea. The main idea is getting your students to know who they are and not us as parents. We want them to be. Even when my son had to pick a college, I had to step out the way to say, God, take away every single one, any school that he ain't gonna thrive in. Make the choice so crystal clear that any place that he not gonna thrive, take it off the list. Make it so that it's inaccessible to him. I didn't want it to be my choice. I need to be the place that he's gonna thrive because my personality and who I think he should be is no. That's a no. I go to God and say, God, you show me who he is. And when I saw that he was a different student from me, when I saw the way teachers would view him in certain situations, and then I realized once he got to junior high school, he started to get into, when I started praying about the teachers I wanted him to have and environments I wanted him to have. Elementary school was always a teeter-totter. We didn't know what kind of teacher we were going to get. But from junior high school through high school, we really didn't have that many of those problems because he wound up being in the place where he was going to thrive with the people that understood him and got him. And it was no longer that he was quirky or anything. They just got that he just had this special kind of thing to him. And that's where his gifts and talents made room for him.
Wow. That, and I hope, like, I y'all forgive me for not telling y'all in the beginning to have your pen and papers ready, because that right there, if that's not a reason, number one, to book her, let's just start there. Then you're bugging. But even if you took some of what she just said and implement it for your own children, right? Some of us, let's be honest, need to implement it for our own lives because we don't know our identity, right? And our identity is tied up in things and people that are of no use to us. Let's be clear. I think we're going to touch a little bit on that, Candace. I think we should. I want to say they're not ready because they probably not. But a lot of our identity, before I go there, let me just remind you, you are watching the Christina Danielle Show. This happens each and every second and fourth Thursday of the month. Okay, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. It's under Christina Danielle. And make sure you are watching on Facebook or liking on Facebook. I don't really know how the Facebook works, but you can figure it out because you're smart, right? And it's Christina Stewart. Thank you for being here. We're getting ready to shift into an identity talk, right? I'm talking with Candace Hudson, who is an academic success coach and college planning consultant. Y'all, if you have children who you plan on being academically successful, this is the woman that you want to reach out to. We're definitely going to give you her contact information, but you definitely want to make sure that you're here to get all the jewels and the gems, because she's already giving away the sauce. Okay, so let's get into this topic of identity, right? And so I'll be transparent, because y'all know I love to be transparent, because here's why I love being transparent. And this is where we're going to start having conversation, Candace. I don't even want it to be where, you talk, I talk. I want us to just go in right here for at least the next 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes or so, right? And so here's the thing, right, about identity that we need to discuss. A lot of us don't know what our identity is. And I can tell you that we don't know our identity because, correct me if I'm wrong, I ain't know my own identity. I think I'm still discovering my identity sometimes, to be honest with you, right? And I didn't know who God called me to be. I didn't know who he created me to be. I knew of it, but I didn't know the depth, the foundation, the deep stuff of it, right? But once you discover that thing, baby, it is a game changer. Am I wrong, Candace? Like, once you discovered who Candace was and what she was capable of, and the fire and the power that God instilled in her to be who he has called and created her to be on this earth, did you not game change? Did you not shift? Did your business not blow up? Because God already knew who you were. He knows who we are. He wants us to identify with what he already knows. So let's talk about this identity factor. Please, go ahead.
It's my favorite thing to talk about. Okay. So here's the thing, right? So a lot of us are always, so a thing for me that came up as a child is that I was good in school. I always tell people I was good, but I could have been great. Right. But I did well in school. I was out of me and my sisters. I probably did things a little bit different. Right. I was the one who, I didn't just have a lemonade stand. I kind of had a register, the book, I bought this many cups, this many lemons, this many cookies. I sold this today. I'm gonna sell this tomorrow. Right. I did a lot of things that maybe a lot of kids weren't doing. But the thing is, what happened is when people start noticing who they think you are, and they notice that, oh, she's a high achiever, she likes to do this. Everybody's always talking about what Candace is doing, but they put labels on me. And then I was labeled the good girl. And being labeled the good girl, I felt like I couldn't mess up, right? I couldn't do anything wrong because I was labeled the good girl. I was one of the brown girls that wanted to go to college. I was one of the brown girls who wanted to do this, that, and the other. And I started working, to those labels. And you don't realize that. I started trying to live up to the labels that were being put on me. So throughout elementary school and junior high school and high school, those labels were on me. And I didn't realize that that's how I was operating. And then as I got to college and when I got pregnant with my son, and a lot of people, if you ever heard me speak and you've ever heard my testimony, when I got pregnant with my son, I didn't tell my family for a long time. I was 7 months pregnant and didn't tell my family. It was easy to hide it because I was a small girl. Why? I was so embarrassed because of the labels I had been living with all this time. And it took some time for me to to go through some situations, for the situations. And here's the thing, when you're going through situations and you're going through some hard times, sometimes we think it's the enemy, or we say it's the devil, he's always busy. But I think we forget that God is busier than the devil. And sometimes God is going to allow you to go through some situations because they have to reveal who you actually are. It has to reveal who he created you to be. And through those situations, as they came in my teenage years and my 20s and 30s, it began to reveal who I really am. And that's when I saw that, and even another mentor who had to even come in and give me that hard talk to be like, I know that you can aspire to do a lot of things, and I know you're good at this, but I know this thing, even with academic coaching, this is the thing God has given you to do. And it was one of the things that I just, like I said, I was just doing it for free and helping people. And God had to reveal who I really was as the professional encourager. I had to go through things in life where I had been mistreated, or I had, been discouraged in like so much. I couldn't understand why there were people in my life that were supposed to love me, and they kept discouraging me. And that's where the whole thing of being a professional encourager came from, is I had to learn to encourage myself. And it was encouraging others that actually filled me up. Okay. So going through those situations in life and going through those things started to reveal who I really was. So when I came on social media, people hear me speak at events and things like that. What you saw was somebody beginning to walk in their purpose. Right.
Yes.
I was walking
Yes.
in destiny now. I wasn't afraid. So here's the thing. Why I can tell the truth and say I hid my pregnancy till I was 7 months pregnant is because I'm not ashamed. Right. You can't shame me. I'm already humbled.
Say that again.
I don't have a fear of anything that you can say or do to me. I'm already humble. I can tell the truth. I can tell my own truth. There's nothing that you can say that my truth is too hard for me. Like, really? You think that God gonna let you shame me? No. Right? So that's why I can use my testimony and I can encourage somebody else. Right? So when you hear me speak and you see me work with these students, you see me work with parents, the thing they're not drawn to me because I could get them some scholarship money. They're drawn to the fact that I'm going to tell you my story.
Right.
Right. And I'm going to speak from a parent's perspective. And then I'm going to speak from the coach's perspective and be like, I understand and I got your back. And you can be able to reveal to me something that you're going through. And one of the things that, I'm starting to release some testimonies of my students is one thing all my students keep saying is that Miss Candace never stops praying for me. Because I know where my strength is. I know where my help lies. Right. And I know that's how my character got revealed is through prayer. Right. And through those situations and whatever, like for those 6 years, I kept getting knocked down. Let me tell you something. Ain't nothing gonna keep me down nowhere.
You better talk about it. Talk about it.
I'm so clear. I'm so clear on what God has told me to do. I am so clear on what he has me to do. The title, don't let the title academic coach fool you because there's just a purpose there, right? I'm here to help these students I'm help to get your children to their identity. Why? Because I understand their purpose here on this earth. And I understand that there's been opportunities hidden from them that they can't see that keeps them from making a choice to put them in places where they're going to thrive because of some money. Money is not our issue. It's the enemy trying to silence your voice is your issue. It's the enemy trying to keep your kid off of a certain campus because the minute they put their foot there, they have made their mark. Okay. So I'm trying to get them to places that they've already been ordained to be. They already got favor there. It's my job to make sure they get into those places of favor. So I know who I am. I'm clear. I'm very clear on my assignment. And that's the thing. You people, like you said, Christina, you got people out here and you're allowing people to label you. You're allowing people to say, oh, well, you should be like this and be like that. And here's the thing. At some point in time, you got to start tearing the labels off.
Come on. You better talk about it. Talk
that
about
whole good girl image. People say, Candace, you're the good girl. You're so nice. You're so this. And I needed you to stop. My heart is kind because that's who my father is. My father is kind. I'm kind. I'm just like my daddy.
But don't let that good image fool you now.
Right? Don't mistake what you see me do for what, right? These outside things that you see me do and say that's who I am. I'm good at a lot of things. I'm gifted. I'm talented. I can do a lot of stuff. Right? But don't mistake those things that I do as to it saying who I am. And that's why you need to go to God first. And you allow him to reveal who you are. Right? God, what is my assignment? What do you need me to do? What is my purpose today, this week? Because my purpose can change depending on where I am in the season that I am. Some of you are still operating in old seasons. That's why you don't realize that your businesses and things aren't working because you're operating in the old season. You haven't gotten the instructions for the new season, nor are you being obedient to the instructions for the new season.
Listen, I am so glad that you are going in on this. This is where I knew there would be a transition, and God always confirms what is about to happen because as soon as I said, let's talk about identity, my screen went black, right? You notice it happened. And then I started getting the text messages and my daughter texted me and some of my mentees text me and my girls, and they're like, your screen is black, your screen is black. I'm like, but can you hear me though? But can you hear me though? See, because here's the thing, y'all. The minute we started talking about identity, my screen went black. And some of you, that is a representation of the faith that you have, because as soon as something goes black, we start to panic. Now, I'm not saying that they panicked because they were just letting me know, but some of y'all started to panic when you couldn't see me no more, right? Because you be praying to God, you be asking God for things. You like, God, I need you to come through I need you to come through in the clutch. I need this, I need that. And then when God doesn't show up, when things start to get black, We start to panic. But see, because I know my identity, I wasn't worried about a black screen because my voice still works. There's still power in my word. And I'm not here by myself. I'm here with my sister. So I already know that I'm covered. Even if you can't see me, you're going to feel this. Believe that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm grateful that the screen went black, because some of y'all needed to see a black screen so that you can understand what it's like to be in the black, but to still be powerful. What it's like to be down, but still be up. You need to understand. I've been in the black for about a week. I had a friend that passed away on Friday. This Tuesday was the anniversary of my mother's passing. I got things in my personal life that are going on. And I could have, like Candace said, I could have quit, but I ain't quit though. The screen went black, but I ain't quit though. And so this is why I love what Candace does with her students, because it is the identity factor that we forget about, right? When you get a hold on your identity and who you are and whose you are and what is your purpose and where you're supposed to prosper and who your people are and who you're called to, when you get a hold on that thing, you don't worry about the screen going black. You don't worry about the teacher misunderstanding you. You don't worry about the chaos happening around you, because you know that you're covered in your identity. And so this was intentional to happen. You don't need to see me. If you need to see me, look at the pictures that I post. I post them all the time. But my voice is what you need to hear right now. Candace's voice is what you need to hear right now. And for somebody, this is going to be a breakthrough moment, because you need to stop seeing things and start believing things. It ain't for you to see. It's for you to believe. And if you would close your eyes to what you see in front of you and start looking at the vision that God has around you, you would be prosperous and productive in every area of your life. I am grateful for you, Candace. I am grateful that we have each other, that we are sisters. I am grateful for what you are doing with your students, because what you are doing is creating decent human beings that can live in this world and prosper no matter what life throws at them. That is what matters. I don't want something that is just for now. I don't want something that makes me feel good temporarily, and then 2 seconds later, I'm down on my knees crying because I don't really know how to deal with my identity. I don't really got the spiritual muscle to deal with the demons that are trying to attack my soul, my gift, my talent. I don't know how to handle that stuff. So excuse me if I have to be in the black a little bit.
How many of you can operate in the black? How many of you can operate when it doesn't look like it's supposed to? See, here's the thing. When I'm working with a family on some college planning and they don't see a way, there's no money. And I always got to tell them, relax, right? Because everything has a time and season. I can't guarantee you funds, but what I'm going to guarantee you is I'm going to increase your faith.
Come on.
And that's why sometimes I had to operate in the black. When I went to school, there was no money. My house caught on fire 2 weeks after I got to school. How do I get to stay in school? And then I get pregnant. What do you think all of these situations were happening for? What do you think they were happening for? I'm a teenage mom on campus, and I still graduate in those 4 years, right? And I have less debt, because don't get it twisted. I had some, right? But even the things I learned working in financial aid, at my school, I had to operate in the black on so many times, because I want you to go have a baby and go live on campus. I want you to go see everybody else going out on Friday night, and you stay home with your baby. And go study. Right? People didn't understand how that felt when I'm 18 I'm 19 and 20 years old. Let me see how you operate in the black when you got to be this, when, I no longer, and this is, I don't align with being a single mom, because I wasn't a single mom. Right? I was unmarried.
Come on.
Right? And you keep letting people label, you're a single mom. I do this. I do that. Keep labeling things by what the society say. Come out of alignment with that stuff. Right? But how many times you had to operate in the black when you couldn't see? Over the 6 years when I'm trying to finish a course and I can't finish it. And I very well could have just quit. Go back to just teaching your kids. Make sure they get their good grades. But you know what God wouldn't let me do? He wouldn't even let me sleep. Right? Because he's going to let that thing sit on you until he will pull the rug from up under you and let everything fall apart just to get you walking in your purpose and destiny and knowing who you are. He will let those things fall apart because it don't matter. How many of you gonna take the time to say, I'm gonna operate in the black? That's some blind faith. It's some blind faith to Christina to sit here and keep talking and keep the show going. And we're not gonna apologize for it. Because that's why we know that this happened on purpose.
At all.
Operate with that blind faith when you got everybody coming up against you, everything falling apart in your life. Let me tell you something. When my son was about to go to college, I went through one of the toughest seasons of my life. Everything was falling apart around me, and I forgot all that I knew to do. And at some point in time, know what I had to do? As I was laying in my bed crying, I said, Candace, enough is enough. You know what to do. Your own son about to sink. You've helped students for years. You can't let this take you out. And like I said, ain't nothing about to take me out.
Nothing.
That's gonna be that black. That's that blind faith that I had to know that my strength was gonna come from who? From God. That He was gonna give me strength. He was gonna give. It's something that I said that I learned from Prophetess Tiffany Montgomery and Christina. We say it all the time. People of influence are always working on my behalf.
Always.
I'm always at the right place at the right time, engaged in the right activities with the right people, because I've learned something from Justin Richardson when he said, sometimes you can be having good conversations with the wrong people. And people don't understand. And I always talk to my son about the environment. Environments matter. People matter. Sometimes you got good people talking about the wrong things, or you got the right people talking about the wrong things. You got to really pay attention to that, because you're allowing these people to sow into your life. So I'm always at the right place at the right time with the right people. And like Christina said, my gifts always make room for me. There's sometimes I'm not even supposed to be in certain rooms. I have been able to talk in conferences and places on topics and things that I don't have the background for.
But you got the blessing for it. You got the grace. You got the gift.
You got to know who you are.
That's it. It's the identity.
And I got to stress to you parents, stop trying to get your kids I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be this major. I don't care if they want to jump on trampolines. Let them do it. Hello. Let them figure out how the trajectory of them jumping, how they have to calculate it. How do we fix the mesh in this? What do we build this out of? You don't understand what goes into that. Somebody is a millionaire because they figured out how to make a trampoline.
Boom. That part.
So who are you to tell that student that you need to major in this? You need to do this. How many of us went to school like me, coming out majoring in accounting, but that was just a skill. That's a skill. But so many of our students were getting the pressure from their parents because they said, but I want them to do this. Hey, you have a limited experience. You only know what you know. So how do you know what they're choosing to do is not the thing that's going to make them whatever great in the world? You have no idea. So don't you dare take your limited experience that you had going to school and put it on them. And that's why we have a full adults, grown adults walking around, don't know who they are, doing the most, and still unhappy, still unfulfilled, and still bitter.
Listen. Y'all got everything here tonight, and we could go on and on, but I am grateful for the way God operates and that He does better than we could ever imagine. Candace, I thank you so very much. And we I don't know. Y'all let me know. Y'all want to see a part 2 to this? Because we got the fire. I'm just saying. So if y'all want a part 2, you need to be subscribed to the Facebook. What did I say? To the YouTube and on the Facebook. You need to be on there. Let me know if y'all want to see more of this. This has been phenomenal. And like I said, we could go on and on, but I think y'all got enough for tonight because y'all not ready for all of it. You're not. You're really not. Okay? You're not. Some of y'all over here still looking at the black screen like, but who talking? Well, you should have been here in the beginning. You should have been here. But I encourage you to definitely go back and watch this because there was a definite shift here on this live tonight, on this first episode of the Christina Danielle Show. I want to give Candace a moment to please tell people how they can reach out to her and make sure that y'all reach out to her. Here's what y'all need to stop doing. Y'all need to stop taking little bits of things and not doing nothing with it. All right. The analysis paralysis needs to stop. Stop overthinking things, right? Just make it happen. Candace said it before. Creeping is progress. right? Take those steps. Creeping is still progress. All right. So Candace, please tell the people how they can connect with you. What do you have got going on? Please let them know.
Well, you can connect with me through my website, www.candace, Candace, Hudson, Hut as in Tom, SON, CandiceHudson.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Candace M. Hudson. And I'm on Facebook, Candace Hudson, academic coach and mentor. Right now, I am actually going to put up a post tomorrow. I am doing college financial aid strategy sessions because right around now, a lot of you haven't done any prep work. And I remember what that is, what that felt like to not be prepared. So I can review your financial aid award letters with you, help you find opportunities for money, and set you up to go into college in the fall with a better understanding of how the process works and things like that. So I am doing those sessions for the month of May. And then the month of June, I'm still working with my students, wrapping up with my college students and with my high school and some middle school students. But you can always book a strategy session with me. You can book a discovery call with me. You can do it through my website. You could do it through my Instagram. Click the link in my bio. And you can also email me at info@CandiceHudson.com.
Yes, y'all have all the ways. And if you missed anything, you can definitely go back and watch this replay. Again, make sure that you are connecting with Candace. Get your children to connect with Candace. If y'all didn't get what value she brings to not just to a child, but to a legacy, right? Because what she's doing is it's shifting and shaping them for the future, which now shifts and shapes their future. So what she's doing is a change for the legacies to come beyond just that one person. So definitely make sure that you are connected with Candace. Also, for those who do not know, you got about, today's what, Thursday, Candace? You got about one more day to register for my prayer masterclass, Pray and Prosper, the prayer masterclass that is happening this Saturday. This masterclass is going to teach you, it's really going to teach you all about prayer and how to really get to the meat of it and how to simplify prayer, y'all, because a lot of people are overcomplicating it. You're either overcomplicating it or you don't understand it. And so this masterclass is going to teach you that. You can meet me on my website at info. That ain't my website. That's my email. My website is www.christinadanielle.co. Go to my website, register for the masterclass. My books are on there. Anything having to do with me, email, all of that is on www.christinadanielle.co. We will see you on the 27th. Thank you again for joining me on the very first episode of the Christina Danielle Show, y'all. I love y'all to no end. As always, make sure that you are praying and prospering. Candace, if you got one line to give to the people, give it to them right now. We'll close it out.
Real quick. Christina spoke about legacy. Let me just drop this. Remember, I went to school. I ain't had no money, but my son, my oldest son, second generation graduate, is in school on a full ride. Whole lot.
Woo! Yes. Love y'all. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you on the 27th. Make sure you subscribe. Pray and prosper.